Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller joins me today. His office touches everyday issues Texans care about: the health of livestock, the safety of our food, water availability, and what we are paying at the grocery store. As Miller runs for another term and the race for Agriculture Commissioner gets underway, we'll start with how the state is preparing for disease threats, managing growing water pressures, and addressing food affordability. Commissioner Miller, welcome to Hello Houston.
It's good to be with you this morning. Thank you very much.
You know, Commissioner, I want to start with an issue that directly affects ranchers and food safety: the new World Screwworm. How is the Texas Department of Agriculture assisting state and federal efforts in surveillance and preparation?
Well, surveillance, let's tackle that one right off the bat. So I run biosecurity for the state. We keep the state safe from any invasive pest, diseases, bacteria, viruses, anything like that. So we're kind of tip of the spear when it comes to protecting against the New World Screwworm. So I have traps, surveillance traps set up and down the Rio Grande, so we will trap these flies and we will know when they are here. I got to thinking the most likely way we're to get the screwworm is from hitchhiking flies. So I've also put traps around the cruise ship terminals in Galveston and Corpus Christi, because those ships go right down where the heaviest infestation of these screwworm flies are. Wow. So we're doing it through surveillance, working with federal and international partners. About a month ago, I hosted Mexican officials, officials from all 11 Central American countries in my office. I shared research with them where there has been a fly bait developed that will kill 95% of these flies. They were elated. They'd been trying to develop one. They didn't know about this research. So hopefully we can get some fly bait out and get immediate action on it. Right now, the only method we are using is sterile male flies. The flies mate one time, so if you can get them to mate with a sterile fly, the eggs will be also sterile. We haven't had, it's very slow and very expensive. We don't have enough of those flies. USDA has allocated money to build a new fly facility, but we're probably 3 years down the road, and that's not going to be soon enough. So we need some alternative means to control this invasive pest.
So how real is the risk of Texas livestock if the screwworm re-enters the state? How risky is that?
Well, it can be devastating. We have over a $30 billion livestock industry, so that's all in jeopardy. But on top of that, it's much broader. Texas has over 200 species of mammals in it, and all mammals can be affected, including wildlife. You know, we have 5,000 deer in Texas, so those are kind of hard to treat. Pets can get it, so even the homeowner that's not involved in agriculture needs to be aware of this. There's 18 human cases in Mexico, 2 deaths. So no one is really immune. So we all kind of need to be on our. Now I don't want to alarm everybody because we do not have it yet, even though the governor issued a emergency disaster for the New World Screwworm. It's kind of puzzling, but if you understand that's preemptive, that gives state agencies like myself quick reaction to skip all the long, drawn-out paperwork that takes days or weeks. So now we can move rapidly if we do have an infection.
You know, I want to move to the Texas water crisis, and Texas is facing a looming water crisis that impacts both fast-growing cities and agriculture. From your perspective, how serious is this moment for the state?
This is very serious. It's something that I've been telling Texans, for 10 years. For the longest, I was the only state official declaring Texas is out of water. The legislature finally realized that and passed some good legislation. They're going to spend at least $1 billion a year for the next 10 years. Cities like Houston, large cities, from the time they receive their water till they deliver it to their customers, are losing 30%. That's an infrastructure problem. That's the quickest way to get more water is quit losing it. So we can gain 30% more water just by fixing infrastructure. Rural parts of the state are much worse. Their infrastructure is much older. It's harder for them to find the funds to replace that. So this is going to be much needed relief for that. We have over 20 cities in Texas now using desal. None of them are on the coast. They are taking brackish water and cleaning it up. City of Granbury, Texas, Lake Granbury is too salty to use for drinking water or for irrigation. So they put in a desal plant. It's not as salty as the ocean, so it makes it more affordable. So we're using desal. The fracking in oil and gas industry is not using near as much fresh water anymore. They're recycling. They're using brackish water. They're allowing their produced water that comes out of the wells once they're producing to be used for irrigation water. So we're tackling it on many, many fronts.
Are there policies at the state level that you believe need to change now to prevent long-term harm to Texas agriculture when we're looking at the water crisis?
Yes, we have a problem with AI data centers taking up not only large amounts of water, but large amounts of our most fertile farmland and electricity, and driving electricity rates up. So we got a problem there. There's no oversight. There's no regulation. There's no organization. They can just pop up. And you could kind of throw solar farms and data mining centers in the same group. Since they're mostly located in counties, counties don't have any ordinance-making authority. So it's just kind of the wild, wild west. I'm not one that likes more regulation. I believe in giving, incentives. So I came up with a proposal to create agriculture freedom zones. And through these freedom zones, if you would locate in one of those, our less productive land, arid land, brown fields, anywhere but our most fertile land, we will give you incentives like deferred capital gains, accelerated depreciation, and that would move them out of our fertile land. Now, we do have a way to eliminate the use of water and large amounts of electricity. They're called SMRs. They'll be coming on the soon very quick. They're nuclear reactors, small modular reactors, similar but not the same that we use on our submarines and aircraft carriers. These are much, much safer, even though we've never had an accident in 60 years that we've used those. So those can be installed below ground, out of sight, and they will actually generate enough electricity. These data centers can put electricity back on the grid, which would be very, very, we need a little extra. Yeah. And they don't have to use water to be cooled. They can be cooled with hydrogen or liquid salt. So that would eliminate all three problems with these data centers and solar farms and crypto mines.
Another concern that remains for many Texans is food affordability. What specific steps can the state take to strengthen agriculture while also helping bring down grocery prices?
Well, we've had some experience of that. We had the egg crisis, just as eggs got to an all-time high, just as Donald Trump took office. I made a visit to Washington, D.C., sat down with Secretary Brooke Rollins, who's from Texas, and I told her, I said, we have secured 700 containers of eggs from Turkey. And, if you want to lower the price of eggs, go get some more eggs. And these were at a very reasonable price, and almost immediately when we did that, we saw the price of eggs come down. Now, we can produce eggs real quick and chicken real quick, but the problem is beef, high prices of beef.
Correct.
So the president's remedy was to buy quadruple the amount of beef we're getting from Argentina.
Right.
It's the only time I've disagreed with him, but I had to contact him and say, whoa, this is a problem because we already have an agriculture trade deficit of $50 billion. We're buying $50 billion more food than we're selling. And this makes that problem worse. And to solve the beef shortage, we need more cattle, more mama cows. I said, to do that, let's open up federal grazing lands. Under the Biden administration, because of his, Green New Deal, they kicked all the ranchers off federal land. So there's 24 million acres of land idle. I said, open up some of that land so we'll have a place to go with our cows during the drought. We won't have to sell them. We could retain heifers and have a place to graze them. So they took that almost immediately. Secretary Doug Burgum immediately opened up 5 million acres to grazing for our ranchers. So that's helped retain the cattle herd. I said, also you could do a heifer retention tax credit. Pay that farmer, I don't know, $500 for every heifer he'll keep back and grow the herd. They could use a tax deduction. They're making a little money. So they haven't done that yet. And then I told him, if you really want to lower the price of beef overnight, open the Texas-Mexican border to the 1,200,000 head that are waiting to get in. We actually get 15% of our cattle herd from Mexico. They walk in on the hoof. They graze our wheat, graze our hay meadows, go into our feedlots, and we turn that into beef and sell it back to Mexico. But since the new World Screwworm we just talked about, that border has been shut down. So that has exasperated the cattle shortage. You have to be very careful of opening that border because you could actually crash the market. It has to be open in a very wise, systematic way.
Interesting. So, Commissioner Miller, what's the biggest misconception Texans have about why food prices remain high?
Well, I think they think that farmers get subsidies. We haven't done farm subsidies in about 30 years. We used to do that, paying farmers not to farm and stuff like that. It was not the best way to do it, in my opinion. We have graduated to allowing farmers to buy crop insurance. So to keep from going out of business, farmers are allowed to, through the federal government's help. They don't subsidize the farmers. They do subsidize the insurance companies some. To ensure they stay in business, they can purchase crop insurance, and most do. Matter of fact, most bankers require them to carry some insurance on their crop. It's a wise business move. Yeah. So I think that's a misconception. Everywhere I go, why are these farmers getting all the subsidies? Well, wait a minute. We don't subsidize farmers. They buy crop insurance now, have been for 30 years. So I think that's probably the biggest misconception.
When you look at these challenges, disease threats, water scarcity, food cost, what do you see as the Agriculture Commissioner's most important responsibility? What keeps you up at night?
Other than greasy Mexican food, probably the fact that we have a $50 billion agriculture trade deficit. We've never had that before. I mean, America's always been the breadbasket of the world. We feed ourselves and a lot of other people around the world. But the previous administration did not sign one contract. We did not pick up any new customers, and we lost all our old customers. So we're working real hard to turn that around, because if we're dependent on a foreign nation or nations to feed us, that's when our freedoms are in jeopardy. They have full control of you if you can't eat unless they tell you can eat. So we've got to get out of that situation. My office, we have scheduled 45 international trade missions in the next 12 months. Currently, I have a team in Dubai, I have a team in Oman, and I have a team in Mexico City with Texas companies, Texas agriculture companies, opening up markets for our products. About 2 months ago, we secured the cooperation and agreement with Taiwan to buy $10 billion extra farm products from Texas and the United States. So immediately we dropped it from 50 to 40. So I think that's the most crucial thing that we can work on right now. There's a lot of other crucial things. If you're in the cotton industry, it's a cotton insect they're worried about. If it's in the rice industry, it's another insect in the rice industry. If it's the shrimp industry, they're worried about foreign imports, killing their market. If it's sugarcane, they need water in South Texas. So there's a lot of number one problems depending on what section of agriculture you're involved in.
Commissioner, as we enter the Texas primaries coming up in March, Governor Abbott recently endorsed your Republican primary challenger instead of you, a rare move for a governor. How do you interpret that decision?
Well, the governor, I like the governor. Apparently, he does not like me. He recruited this candidate to run against me. He recruited the last two before that. So it wasn't a surprise to me. Mm-hmm. But I challenge the governor when I think he's wrong. I actually sued the governor during COVID when he tried to add a third week to early voting. He didn't have the authority to do that. Only the legislature can change election law. I got him pretty hard when he shut down the border to inspect trucks. We lost $3 billion worth of produce and products. We had American trucks in Mexico that couldn't get out. So we had that disagreement. But look, any other official, if I think they're wrong, I'm going to call them out on it and see if we can get it corrected. So I would never do that to him. I thought that was kind of a low blow. But he's a grown man and do what he wants to do. But we're doing well. We're heading the polls. The people really like me because I get more votes than Greg Abbott. You can check the last election.
What do you think, though, this says about your relationship with Republican leaderships within the state?
Well, I think we have a really good relationship. We got, with our last legislative session, every one of our legislative requests was granted. And they even sent us an extra $100 million that we didn't ask for to improve and stabilize and expand our young farmer program. We didn't even ask for that. So I don't think they're mad at us. They think we're doing a very good job. Matter of fact, the Sunset Commission said that we're the best run agency in the state that they've ever reviewed. So I'll take a lot of pride in my people for making that happen.
And when the governor specifically endorsed your opponent, he said he suggested that Texans need a commissioner focused squarely on agriculture and accountability. How do you respond to that characterization of your tenure?
Well, let me just tell you, this office has typically been a stepping stone for previous commissioners. Rick Perry to run for lieutenant governor and president. Susan Combs used it for a launching pad for comptroller. I'm the ag commissioner. I'm not running for anything else. It's my duty to be the best ag commissioner Texas has ever had. I work hard at it. I'm not looking to rung up the ladder. My job is to serve the farmers, ranchers, and protect the consumers of Texas. And I get up every morning and look in the mirror and realize I am the ag commissioner, and the duties and responsibilities fall solely on me. And so that's my attitude. I'm totally dedicated. I want to be the best ag commissioner Texas has ever had. So that I'm not focused on what I'm doing, I totally disagree with that. I'm totally focused on what I'm doing. I wouldn't have 45 trade missions around the world. That takes focus.
Are you expecting an endorsement from President Trump?
Sure, and I'll announce that at the proper time. Today's not the time.
You know, looking back at your time
I will say about that, I've received endorsements in my last election for Trump, one before that. Donald Trump has called me Trump's man in Texas. I got appointed to the Agriculture Advisory Committee, co-chair. I assembled that committee. I advise the president. I'm personal friends with Scott Turner, the Secretary of HUD, Bobby Kennedy. I'm part of the MAHA movement. I was there when we unfolded the food pyramid. Brooke Rollins grew up 25 miles from my house. Personal friends with Kristi Noem and Doug Burgum. So I have a great working relationship with Sid Miller. He helped me, represented me in my lawsuit against the Biden administration. We won that. Peter Navarro has become a very good friend of mine. So the Trump administration and I get along great.
Then is there a genuine policy disagreement between you and the governor when it comes to agriculture, or do you believe this is strictly politics?
I think it's strictly personal with him in politics. It's not for me. I actually think the governor does a pretty good job. But if we have a disagreement, I think I have a duty as a strong voice for agriculture to stand up for agriculture and tell him I think he's wrong, especially if we lose $3 billion worth of agriculture products.
You know, given looking at the endorsement, what is your message to Republican primary voters who are weighing leadership loyalty against experience?
Well, we've got, I've got 150 endorsements. I've got lots of endorsements. I mean, I even got my opponent has a, experience. His only ag experience. I mean, he's never planted or cultivated or harvested a crop or worked cattle or he's never even lived on a farm, but he has bottled honey. And it's kind of ironic that the Texas Beekeepers Association, his association, industry association, endorsed me, and I had 7 honey companies come up and endorse me. I mean, so his own industry doesn't like him very much. You can ask him why that is. But I think we're doing well. I think we're ahead in the polls. We're working hard. Our fundraising is going well. So I feel pretty good about this election. It'll be 30 days.
And if reelected, what is your vision for agriculture in Texas?
Well, I've kind of gone over that. We want to lower this ag trade deficit. We continue to work on the tariffs. We've got a new farm bill to create. I'm fighting the cotton jassid, the rice delph-acid, citrus canker here in the Houston area. We took out 35 trees last week. We've got the swine flu, the bird flu, screwworms. We've got the sugarcane industry to bring back. We're doing that. Our shrimp industry needs a lot of help. We've got plans to fix that. I have created a mental health hotline for farmers. It's working great. We've saved the lives of 300 farmers with that so far, but we want to expand that to every state in the union. So there's no shortage of things left for me to do. I could go on and on, but you kind of get the drift that I'm busy.
Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Commissioner Miller, thank you so much for joining me today on Hello Houston.
Thank you.